Hello and welcome back to Dr. Logic Awkwardly Does Logic in her office. Today I would like to take some of the things that we've been learning in the previous two videos and start putting them together so that you can see actual examples of how categorical propositions can be derived in this syllogistic proof theory we're introducing. So, without any further ado, let me bring up my whiteboard because we've got two types of rules that I've already introduced to you: bookkeeping rules, premise and reiteration, and the transformation rules, simple conversion and accidental conversion. And each of the transformation rules, you'll remember, come in two flavors. So simple conversion can be done on E claims and I claims. Accidental conversion can be done on A claims and E claims. So I've started off here with a bit of a proof. Every single proof, I've said this before and I'll say it again, starts off by writing down a pair of propositions. So the propositions that I've written down are PIM, annotated with premise, and SIM, also annotated with premise. So for our premises, we can write down whatever we want so long as we have one that can be the major premise and one that can be the minor premise. And so they then share a term between them, namely the middle term, which in this case is n. That's why I called it n. Our transformation rules now allow us to take these premises and change them around. If we look at our transformation rules, we see we have two I claims. We can do simple conversion on them. So if I do simple conversion on, say, the second premise, we have MIS. So this is simple conversion on line 2. So all I've done is I have taken the order of the terms S and M and I've swapped them. The predicate becomes the subject becomes the predicate. Similarly, if I wanted to, I could do this on the first premise because it's also an I claim. So here's another example of simple conversion, except here we're doing it on line 1. Now, just to show that we can use all sorts of different rules, I'm going to go ahead and do reiteration on line 2. So I've just taken line 2, copied it down again. Now, I've used 3 of our 4 rules: premise, reiteration, simple conversion. What I haven't done is accidental conversion. However, if you take a look, accidental conversion can only apply to A claims and E claims. We don't have any of those, and we also don't have any way of getting those given the rules that we have. So at this point, there isn't really anything else interesting left to do. So nothing interesting left to do. Now, more importantly, we also don't yet have a syllogism. So I've got 2 premises and I've done some transformations to them, but I don't have, or rather I can say, I have no proposition that has both P and S in it. So you'll recall that the conclusions of our categorical propositions, of our categorical syllogisms, always have the major term and the minor term. So at this point, I haven't actually generated any syllogisms by applying these transformation rules. However, this is a completely legitimate application of the premise rule, the reiteration rule, and simple conversion. Let's try to do something a little bit more interesting. So let's get rid of this so that we've got plenty of space. And how about this time we pick some initial premises that have some of the universal claims so that we can actually do something interesting. So let's get our, back to the drawing board. There we go. Here's our scope line. How about for our first premise, we put down an A claim. So MAP, that looks like a nice first premise. And then for our second premise, how about an E claim? So SEM, there we have it. Our 2 premises written down with the premise rule. Now we have all of the options open to us. So I could be really boring and say, reiterate line 1 right here on line 3. This gets me nothing, but I'm allowed to do it. Something a little bit more interesting would be if we applied, say, simple conversion to line 2. So it's an E-claim, we're allowed to do that, and all that we do is we swap the order of the terms so that we get MES. So this is simple conversion, line 2. Accidental conversion we haven't used yet at all, but we have both an A claim and an E claim that we can do it on. So how about we accidentally convert line 3? Accidental conversion, you'll remember, comes with 2 parts to it. The first thing that we do is we swap the order of the terms. So the subject becomes the predicate and the predicate becomes the subject. But then we also change from the universal copula to the partial one that has the same quality. So in this case, we get it to I. So this is accidental conversion on line 3. Could also be line 1, doesn't really matter. We could also do, at this point, accidental conversion on line 4, because accidental conversion can be applied to E claims as well. So again, swap the order of the terms and then change the universal copula to the corresponding partial. So we get SOM. So this is accidental conversion on line 4. Now, we can't do any more accidental conversions without just repeating the same things we've already done, because you cannot do accidental conversion on an I claim or an O claim. But we still could do some simple conversion. In fact, given that we have this I claim here, so you can use simple conversion on an I claim, we could convert line 5 into MIP. So here we have simple conversion of line 5. And I would like to highlight something that this shows. So we started off with MAP. We accidentally converted it to get PIM. And then we simply converted it to get MIP. And now we have the terms are back in the same order as the initial proposition we started from. So one thing that you can see here is that if you have an A claim, you can always get the corresponding I claim with the terms in the same order just by applying first accidental conversion and then simple conversion. So to just kind of simplify that over here, say at some line I, we have MAP. It is always possible for us at line J to do, this is accidental conversion on line I, and then again at some later lines, say K, convert it back through simple conversion. So that's a trick that you could use at any point. This is a general trick that will work. There's nothing particular about this specific proof that we gave. Now, just as with the other example, we still have no proposition with both P and S. In fact, if you look closely, you will see that no amount of applying the bookkeeping rules or the transformation rules will actually get us a proposition that has both P and S in it. This is because they only change the order of the terms or they keep the terms fixed. None of them actually change which terms you have in your propositions. That's where the third set of rules come in. The third set of rules, there's going to be 4 of them, tell us how to apply our axioms. So you might remember a few videos back, we said that every proof theory was going to have a set of axioms and a set of rules. I've been telling you the rules, but I haven't really told you anything about what you can do with the axioms. So that is what we need to look at next. What are the rules for applying axioms in the context of a proof so that we can actually get conclusions to syllogisms? After all, that's the whole point of what we are doing. So that's going to be what we look at in the next video. If you're still up for a little bit of syllogizing, I hope to see you again then. Cheers.